Well, good morning, everybody. It's Wake Up Web3 on a Tuesday, which you know what that means. Tuesday is not Reptar's favorite day. So he may be able to join us or he may not. It just depends. Let me get a sound check here, make sure everybody can hear me. Morning, Mr. Gray. Morning, Foskey. Good to see you guys this morning. Listen to my sound here. Okay, good. All right, so I can turn that off. Go back over here. See, when you one-man show the thing, you have to click a few more buttons by yourself, which is fine. Although I will admit it's a whole lot more fun if Reptar and I are both here. But we're having to do a little bit of trading this week. Reptar's working on some stuff, and he may be able to pop in this morning. It just depends. But he will have to solo the show on Friday as I have to do some flying. I'm working on my commercial pilot's license, and if you're in the pilot realm, you know that every 2 years you have to have a flight review. And my flight review is coming up this month, at the end of this month. So I'm going to do that on Friday. So I'll have to miss the show Friday. That's when my instructor is available for my flight review. So anyway, all that to say, glad you're here. Thanks for being here this morning. I hope you had a great weekend. I had a amazingly wonderful weekend. I think I told the channel last week, I went and celebrated my grandparents' 70th wedding anniversary this past weekend. My grandparents have been married for 70 years. So, and happily, very, very happily married. And they're awesome. And I love them very much. And it was great to spend time with them and just kind of celebrate what they've been going through. So yeah, I looked it up. According to Google, 7.2 billion people on this planet are under the age of 70. So my grandparents have been married longer than about 90% of the world's population have been alive, which I think is really cool. So that was my weekend. I hope your weekend was awesome. Mr. Gray, is a flight physical every 5 years? That totally depends. For me, because I am over the age of 40, a class 3 medical has to be done every 2 years. I have a class 2 medical because if you want to be a commercial pilot, you have to have a class 2 medical. For me, being over 40, it's every 1 year. And if I were to go on and want to be an airline pilot, which I don't, but if I did, I would have to have a class 1 medical, which for me being over 40 would have to be done every 6 months. If you're a youngster, yes, your class 3 is good for 5 years. Your class 2 is good for 2 years, and your class 1 is good for 1 year. But I'm old. Yes, Mr. Gray, they are very, very blessed to have had that, and they'll flat out tell you, 70 years is not sunshine and roses all the time. It takes work to have a successful marriage for 70 years, but they're awesome. I love them. They're a shining example of what marriage should be. But you guys aren't here for me to talk about love. Let's get into some crypto news here. We'll start out as we always do with the what? Say it with me. Bubbles, bubbles, my bubbles. Which page? That page. And I got to go over here. Let me fix it first. I'll click on that. There we go. Ta-da! Bubbles, bubbles, my bubbles. Oof. I told Reptar to check on this last night. We were talking about Reptar's making the top 5 AI picks. I told him to look at this one because it just shot into the top 100 in the last week and a half, 2 weeks. But yeah, everything's red today. We're going to talk about why that might be. I'll give you a hint. It's not new news. Don't use leverage, people. Just don't use leverage. Too easy to manipulate. But let's take a look at my baby since I just saw it. Yep, down to 242. Got up to 254 in the last day. You can see that. Here's what we've been looking at for the last week: 221 to 252. That's actually a 15%, rise, and it's still up 10% from the weekly downside. The month, I know this says $2, but we all know that it wicked down near $1.10. But obviously this is not counting the wicks. So we'll see. We'll see what happens today. and what's going on and why this stuff is down. But let's take a look at, let's just go up here. What happened? What happened? Okay. So Bitcoin's sitting at 111, the high for the last 24 hours is 111. It's up to 109 now. It was down at 104, went all the way down to 104, 103. Just like DJ said it would. All right, let me flip over here. We'll move on pretty quickly here today because it's there's some interesting stuff going on, and this is not it. So market cap 3.67 trillion, down from our all-time high of about 4.2. Fear and Greed's moved up. We were down at 27 on Friday, I believe. Right? Does that sound right? I need some more caffeine. I'm not talking fast enough. Gonna sound like Crypto Jeb where he just starts talking like this. ETH actually doing okay. You know, things are up a little bit for the day here. Tether, I'm not sure why it's not moving. Binance, interesting. Let me pull this up here. You had a chance during the bear market here to stop it. Can I move? No, I can. There we go. To get this all the way down in the 200s. Look at that. So Binance is a 5x already. Just stuff that's interesting. That's why if you're just now getting into crypto, pay attention. Don't lose your butt on this bull run because you need to have some powder for the bear market, whatever it looks like. If it's going to be, a traditional bear market where Bitcoin drops 60 to 70% and altcoins drop 80 to 90%, or if it does something different, it's still price number will go back down. It may not go back down as much as it has in the past, but number will go back down. So don't, if you're new, this is your first foray into crypto, don't lose your butt on this bull run. Take some profits, have some standing by for when the prices go down. So you can get Binance at $200 before it goes to 1,000. So you can get Bitcoin at 16,000 before it goes to 125. Just don't lose your butt. I will caveat and say we do not give financial advice at Alpha Origins. I'm literally, you can see I'm a dude in my basement. I passed Econ 101 and 102 in college 20 something years ago. I'm not giving you financial advice. I'm just talking about stuff that I've learned. Alpha Origins team, like we do talk about crypto, but we don't tell you what you should do with your money. Here's what we tell you should do. Don't be a moron. And if you're taking advice from a random dude in his basement, you're a moron. Do your research, find people that have a history of success with pointing out market structures and price action or whatever. Just find people who are getting it right, follow them and learn. All right, rant over, disclaimer, disclaimed. Let's move on to a little bit of news here. This is something to point out for all of the people that are like, why should look, gold is kicking Bitcoin's butt. You should be in gold. Bitcoin is just a scam. It's a bullcrap token. It's just nothing. A $1 investment in Bitcoin in 2010 is now worth $2 million. A $1 investment in gold in 2010. I looked it up. Gold, the average spot price of gold throughout 2010, let me click back over here and make sure I get it right because I don't want to tell you wrong, was $1,227. So if you invested $1 in gold in 2010, you now have $3. Gold is crushing Bitcoin. Shut up, you moron. You violated rule number 1. Yeah, Mr. Gray, I didn't. I heard about the guy losing $3 million. I didn't know it was a wallet issue. We have talked about wallets. In fact, Reptar put out a video on the current cold wallets and what are cold wallets, what are warm wallets, what are hot wallets, what do you need, how do you need to use them. So check out that video because Reptar covered that in depth. And I will show something. Treasury just yesterday announced a new quantum protected wallet. So Treasury is one of the big boys. You got Treasury and you got Ledger. Those are the two I'm familiar with. They both make great. Little photo video popped up. But they make great cold wallets. But yeah, if you don't know what that means, you need to go watch Reptar's video on wallets. Just click on the videos in our channel. And while I'm switching this, while we're talking about channel stuff, we would always love, if you're watching live, if you're watching on replay and you're not tapping the like button, tapping the subscribe button, we'd greatly appreciate it. It does help the channel get out there. You guys know, everybody here, if you're watching YouTube, you know how YouTube algorithms work. If you think we're putting out good content, if you think we're providing value to the crypto community, please do the algo stuff, hit the like, hit the subscribe, do the share, ring the bells, blah, blah, blah. You know how it works. If you want to. If you don't, no problem. It's okay. We talked about this Friday, and I had mentioned that Bitcoin is an alt to gold. And this is a post from, shout out to Leshka.eth. Leshka, I'm not sure. But I think that's an Azuki, right? Oof. Yep. Mr. Gray, yeah, he used his seed phrases to add his wallet to multiple devices, and it took this cold wallet and made it hot. Yeah, and you need to understand, guys, and that's, we've mentioned this in our Discord multiple times in the last week. As crypto goes up and attracts more value and more money and more new people, the number of scammers will increase. And what do? They send you, they put a link somewhere on X or on Discord or especially on Telegram. Don't do Telegram, guys. Don't do Telegram. But so what they'll do is, if you have, let's say, you guys know, if you watch the show, that I just bought a Bored Ape. Well, there are people out there watching the Bored Ape collection, and anytime they see a new wallet in there, they send you, like, they see your address because it's a public address. They will send you NFTs just randomly, and in those NFTs, in order, like, you're like, holy crap, I just received another NFT, and it says the floor price on this NFT is 2 ETH. Well, heck, it's a free NFT. I'm going to sell that and make 2 ETH. Okay. And so you click to interact with, and you click sell because there's a buy offer for, say, 1.9, and you're like, okay, yeah, that's good enough. So you click, I'm going to click that accept offer, and it opens up a transaction in your wallet, which is a hot wallet, and you have to click approve the transaction. But most people don't read it. That transaction will always give them access to your wallet, and they will drain your wallet. They'll take your crypto tokens, they'll take all of your NFTs that they can, and you will be left with nothing. So understand, as crypto grows this cycle, scammers will be everywhere. If you don't know what a link is, don't click on it. If you don't know what an NFT is in your wallet, do not interact with it. You can hide. You can click on the little 3 dots and click hide. That doesn't cause a smart transaction. But do not initiate a transaction on anything you don't know. Just hide it and never think about it again. Yeah, Mr. Greg, after that, phishing, malware, hacks. Always confirm in our Discord. If you see a link, you ask us, is this legit? Okay. We try and keep our Discord as secure as possible as far as all the holders. I got phished on a project in their Discord. There was an announcement made by one of the official leaders. What we didn't know at the time is that leader's account had been hacked. And they made an announcement that, hey, we're partnering with this, this new project. And so because of that, they want to give, our holders a free mint of their particular NFT. And the partnership made sense, and it was from a leader's account in the announcements of the Discord. The Discord itself wasn't hacked, just the leader. And the partnership made sense. The NFTs being together made sense. So I clicked on it. I was like, cool. It's nice that they're adding some utility for me as a holder. Nope. I lost about $15,000. Just like that. And I've been in crypto for years. So you got to be careful. But let's get back to this right here. This. I think this has some validity to it. Actually, it's bigger the other way. Phase 0. Gold. Traditional markets are showing weakness and uncertainty. Yeah. Gold hits new all-time highs as inflation hedge narrative strengthens. Yeah. The phase overlap. Gold continues rallying, but momentum is slowing down. Are we there right now? Or does gold have another? Is gold still going to run? Or, it's at 4,300 or so now. Does it go up to 45? Does it go up to 5,000? I don't know. But that macro concern, the inflation concern, the uncertainty, it's going to push people towards the safer end of all investment spectrums. Gold being one of the safest, Bitcoin, the safest crypto. Makes sense, right? Everybody tracking? So, and I'm considering this because I bought gold a little. I have a little gold from, I don't know, 10, 15 years ago. I wish I'd had that money in Bitcoin because y'all wouldn't be talking to me right now. But, you bought an ounce of gold at $1,200. Well, if I'd had $1,200 worth of Bitcoin in, 2010, you saw, it's worth $1. It's worth 2 million. So yeah, do the math. You would not be talking to me. So anyway, we're all familiar with the crypto cycle. Bitcoin moves, then Ethereum moves, then the large caps move, and then the small caps move, right? We've talked about that here. If you're new to crypto, that has been the historical pattern of how money moves. People take their profits out of Bitcoin and move it down to Ethereum because Ethereum hasn't pumped as much yet. So they want to make a little more money. And then after ETH pumps, they take some profit and roll that into the large caps and make a little more money. So they cycle their profits through and get multiples. That's been the pattern. Yeah, Foskey, it sucked. But this just the idea that gold front runs Bitcoin, I think, is something that we should consider. And you can see here talking about, money flows into gold and then it flows out into Bitcoin. Then it flows into Bitcoin and out to Ethereum. You get it. So I wanted to point that out because I do think it's valuable to think about. Let me move on from the insurance law news. This is important to point out. The Department of Justice has seized $15 billion in Bitcoin in fraud scheme. Now, we talked a little bit about that last week. This is how the U.S. government has said they want to create their Bitcoin or crypto strategic reserve. They want to seize assets from criminal activity. Cool. So long as me protesting something doesn't count as criminal activity, like up in Canada. But this is how they want to do it. They seize it. Now, that causes an interesting thought to pop into my head. If you were to seize, how would you seize my crypto without having my keys? Obviously, you could seize it off of Coinbase. Any centralized exchange, you could seize it off of that because the exchange holds the crypto, not. But I have most of my crypto on locked behind my Ledger wallet. I mean, I guess you could force me to give you the passwords. I guess you could search my house and, maybe cut open a safe and find a seed phrase. But how do you seize crypto? What do you think? So now the United States has $15 billion of Bitcoin. Is that a huge ton? No, I mean, there's plenty of investors that have more, but I would love to know exactly how much Bitcoin the United States government actually has. Not how much they say they have, not, Mr. Gray maybe negotiating to reduce sentencing. Like, hey, if you don't, obviously you've committed fraud, and we've proved in court that you've committed fraud. You're facing, because it's $15 billion, you're facing 35 years in federal prison, or you can have 5 years of house arrest and you turn over your fraudulent assets. Maybe I could see that. All right. This is the news to lead off the morning. Today there is a conference hosted by the Fed. Great, yay! I'm sure the red on the screen has nothing to do with the fact that Jerome Powell is going to be talking about crypto today. Screw that guy. But anyway, this is going on today. So Fed Governor Waller, not necessarily our favorite person, this guy, but someone else is. They're having a big conference today. I'm not sure how long it lasts. It may just be today, but panels on DeFi convergence and AI and payments. We know that BlackRock mentioned last week that everything they're looking to tokenize everything. Everything's going on chain, guys. Everything is getting digitalized. Everything will be on the blockchains, and there will be multiple blockchains that will be a part of this. XRP, Chainlink, Hedera, Ondo. We've talked about them on multiple occasions. Either watch the shorts on the individual projects, or if you want to watch the long form videos, we do talk about them. So crypto news: the Federal Reserve's Payment Innovation Conference is taking place right now, guys. At crypto.news. If you want to see their particular, this is the link. This is the live stream of the conference. If you just want to watch, up to you. But yeah, I'm not sure. This guy put an address down. I guess maybe Solana, I don't know, or pump.fun. Who cares? Good for you. So yeah, if you want to watch and see, I'm not going to sit here and listen to it all day. I'll just wait for someone else to do the work and give me the highlights. And then I'll give you the highlights tomorrow. How's that? But that's going on today. I'm sure that might have been something that affected. You know what? I want to do this. There. That's better. I would turn my name tag orange again, but Tennessee stunk it up against Alabama this weekend. All right, so if you are a boomer who doesn't understand the internet, you probably did not know this. Everyone else, younger than my grandparents, knows that Amazon Web Service had some issues yesterday. They went down for a few hours, and this is something we need to talk about because it affected the crypto markets, which may also have affected some of the tokens yesterday as well. But if you're driving, I'll read you a little bit of this. If you're watching, you can read it yourself, obviously. But Amazon Web Services went down for a few hours, and with it, so did Coinbase, Binance, Crypto.com, and some of the NFT images on OpenSea. Stuff froze. I was able yesterday afternoon to actually buy a little bit of crypto, but there was a notice even yesterday at 5:36 p.m. that some customers are unable to buy, sell, trade, send on Coinbase due to the Amazon Web Services outage. Well, that seems like a singular point of failure for something that's supposed to be decentralized. Yeah. As you can see here, wait, isn't crypto supposed to be decentralized? Yeah, that's the irony. Our tokens and smart contracts might live on blockchains, but the apps that we use every day live on Amazon's web servers. That's the cloud, by the way. It's not some ethereal magic place. It's someone else. The cloud is someone else's servers that they own. They are storing your data, and you're telling me they don't have access to it? You're telling me that the NSA doesn't have access to them? Anyway, conspiracy theory. Yeah. So this is the point that Syed 65, right there at Syed 65, that he makes or she makes that I want to point out. maybe this is the next big thing. Whoever builds a decentralized Amazon Web Services. That's what I think Render is doing with graphics processing, decentralized graphics processing. Whoever can do that with web storage. Maybe that's something we need to look out for. Someone that's trying to do that. Someone who's trying to build decentralized Amazon, a decentralized cloud. Because I think that token could explode. I want to point out, this is Bitcoin.com news at BTC-TN. The Amazon outage affected Coinbase, Ethereum's layer 2s, and other cryptos. How decentralized are these services? So this is Ethereum's mainnet. These are the execution layer hosting internet service providers. Amazon has 27.5%. They are responsible. They host the internet services for 27.5% of the execution layers on Ethereum. Hetzner, I'm not sure who that is. OVH Cloud, Google Cloud, Oracle Cloud. This says Terra Switch Networks. You can't see that. Latitude SH, High Velocity, and Hetzner Online, and then a bunch of others make up 16.2%, and there's some others. But yeah, when Amazon Web Services goes down, 27.5% of ETH's hosting layer is down. Now, you could argue that this is actually decentralized because there's a bunch of different options, but they have the largest share. You can see right here. So it is a concern. I will point out this. Hedera was not affected at all. Look at that. Network uptime, 100%. HBAR. I want to run through a couple of other things here just to show you what's going on here. The HBAR network did not have this problem. This BM Gentile, Brady at BM Gentile, has a blog on Hedera.com about why Hedera. He explains why Hedera is safe from stuff like this, but he wrote it back in 2023, and it's still relevant today, which is great. Decentralized layer 1s and layer 2 networks have an over-reliance on Amazon Web Services for node ops, as we saw on Ethereum, 27.5%. It's going to affect things. Pull this up for you. This is the validator hosting distribution for Hedera. Where is Amazon? Amazon Web Services? The green, 6.9%. To me, is interesting because I would have thought if they had zero downtime that perhaps they would have been down 7%, but maybe not. And you can see where they are. I'll make myself smaller for this one so you can see the whole thing. This is their locations. This is the U.S. This is by country. This is by continent. Obviously, the U.S. hosts 34%. The next largest is going to be South Korea, which is interesting. And then another here is that's Germany. But hosted in every continent. A lot more decentralized. All right. I want to finish up with, you guys know, my favorite project, XRP. So, yeah, Forbes, their predictions are trash. I just wanted to bring it up because Forbes magazine is predicting that XRP could surge between $200 and $400 within the next 4 weeks. Yeah, XRP could be at $200 by the end of November. Ha! What are you smoking, and can I have some? That's not happening. If it does, I'll sell some. How's that? I hate stuff like this because Forbes is a traditional financial. I mean, they're. I know them from the magazine, but they're. I can't find the word I'm looking for. But they're traditional finance. Morning, Muna. Good to see you. Um, it's not like why. Yeah, it just. Here you go. It's nowhere to be found on Forbes. Well, that's why. Yeah, this Crypto Geek News is making that up. Crypto Geek News apparently is a liar. So we'll close that and move on. I will point this out. This is the point I wanted to get to. Over the weekend, Brad Garlinghouse tweeted this. Ashish, which is the CEO at Evernorth. Oh, great. What's Evernorth? We'll get to that in just a second. They're building something special with Evernorth XRP. We're proud to partner with them and proud to join an incredible set of investors, including SBI Holdings, Pantera Capital, Kraken, GSR, and RippleWorks to support Evernorth as it participates in institutional lending, liquidity provisioning, and DeFi yield opportunities for XRP. So what is Evernorth? This is that SPAC, that special, what does the P stand for? Property Acquisition Company? I can't remember what the P stands for. Help me out. Anyway, so this is what exactly? So this is their announcement. You can check that if you want. This is Ash Go Blue. Ashish Birla, he's the CEO at Evernorth. Why is Evernorth interesting? Well, number one, they've partnered with Ripple to buy, and they're buying $1 billion worth of XRP. Guess who is on their board? The former CTO at Ripple. That's right, Mr. Wildman himself. And why did I just blank on his name? Seriously, what is wrong with me? David Schwartz. Wow. I need more caffeine, apparently. Or maybe I've had too much. So let's dive into for just a minute. It's a first-of-its-kind institutional vehicle built to accelerate XRP adoption. So, whoops, let me come over here and scroll just a little bit. This is the CEO. You can read through here. He points out that XRP has clear regulatory standing, has deep liquidity, proven role in powering global payments. He's a CEO. It's going to be XRPN on NASDAQ. Never too much caffeine. I don't know. Yeah, Wendy O had some comments about this, but I want to move on to this right here. This was from Rajat Sony CFA. Great for you. XRP is a scam. The only way Ripple and its execs make money is by dumping XRP on retail. And that's after Chris Larson, who is the chief legal officer for Ripple, said, congrats, Ashco Blue and Evernorth XRP team on today's launch. Evernorth fills the missing link today in XRP capital markets and XRP usage in what? DeFi products. Have you heard maybe that we're bullish on DeFi? Chris Larson himself is investing 50 million XRP in the firm. So if you saw people calling out, Chris Larson sold 50 million XRP, he's just dumping on this news. Like, he just invested 50 million XRP in Evernorth XRP. Like, that's what he did. He took his money and invested it somewhere involving the XRP ecosystem. So knock it off with the fear mongering and I'm watching the web. They're just dumping. That's nonsense. Let me scroll back up and point this out. This guy, Bill Morgan, is responding to this Rajat Sony CFA. You're too stupid to even check the facts. Nothing was dumped. It wasn't even sold. The $1 billion worth of XRP that's going to Evernorth, and I'm not sure if Evernorth is the only one doing the billion, or if there's another one doing a billion. It's I'm getting mixed reports on, Evernorth is getting $1 billion XRP, or there's another another company also going to buy up $1 billion worth of XRP. Not the point. The point is, that's not coming from Ripple's escrow. That's not, like, you can see here, Chris Larson invested 50 million of his own XRP. Yeah, and you're right, Mr. Gray. It is a transfer, but the IRS counts it as a sale. He is transferring 50 million XRP, which is at $3 would be $150 million, to this company. So he's investing $150 million in the form of 50 million XRP in this new company. So yeah, it's going to be treated just like any other investment if he done it with cash. Cool. So don't buy into the Chris Larson is dumping XRP. He's not. He's investing his XRP. Sorry, I cut myself off mid rant there answering the question. I listened to a great explanation yesterday, and explaining, okay, well, Ripple has, how many billions of XRP in escrow? Well, what is an escrow? An escrow is a third party that holds an asset for buy, sale, or trade between two parties. Like, they're a neutral third party between two parties, and they hold the asset that belongs to one of the two parties to be transferred back and forth, however it needs to be. And it's transferred once specific conditions are met. The beauty of blockchain is those conditions are hard coded into the escrow. And so what the third party escrow is holding stuff from Ripple Labs, which is a company, and XRP, which is a token. The token was created, and some of it was put into escrow to be released upon conditions to Ripple Labs. Now, what Ripple Labs does is 1 billion XRP is released every month for 55 months. That started in 2017, I think. So that's already, all of that 55 billion XRP has already been, or maybe it's 45, I don't remember. Not the point. It's 55. All of that has already been released from the first escrow to Ripple. Ripple, once those tokens were released to them, would take a portion, either 100 million, even as high as 300 million, and they would keep that. The rest of it, they would roll into another escrow account to be locked up again for more conditions to be released. So they took it out of escrow number 1, like it was released as the escrow contract stated, to Ripple. Ripple said, okay, we need this much for our expenses or to invest, and we're going to put the rest into a new escrow. So they have a second escrow account, and they're releasing that to themselves throughout, whatever the conditions are. So it's not the XRP that is in escrow. Well, I can't say this because I don't know what the new conditions are. Could be being held for other purposes, like, being held for the United States government or being held for large investors. But it is in escrow, not to be dumped by Ripple. Obviously, they're still releasing some to themselves from this second escrow, but they're using it to buy, sell, trade. They just bought a $1 billion company, then they bought a $100 million company, then they bought a $3 billion company. So they're investing in it. But the important part for this, either this $1 or $2 billion worth of XRP, those are being supposedly are going to be purchased off of the public ledger. They're not going to be sold over the counter. They're going to be bought off the public ledger, which should positively affect the price. Now, we'll see what happens, but that is important. But yeah, big news here is DeFi, DeFi, DeFi. I think XRP being on DeFi is going to be huge. And I'm still mega bullish on XRP. Obviously, HBAR not being affected by Amazon Web Services is a huge deal. But I'll just close that to say you need to be aware that stuff like this, Amazon Web Services going down, like, how would you know that was going to happen? You don't. But suddenly, for millions of people in the crypto space, you couldn't buy, sell, trade, or send your crypto for half a day. So if you're keeping crypto on these exchanges, you have to be aware that that is a risk. I could very easily access my Ledger wallet, my cold wallet, and I could have sent stuff from that to my MetaMask or anything else that might have been tied to a decentralized exchange. But if I had needed to move or buy or sell anything off of my Coinbase account, I would have had trouble yesterday. And that's one of the dangers. Now, was it just a 6-hour glitch? Yeah. If there's a problem in my bank and my bank shuts down, can I go get my cash out of my bank? No. But that's why I have a little cash at home. If it's really a dire situation, I've got a little cash in my safe. But just if you sit, not in the moment, but you sit outside of these, panic events and go, okay, we can sit here today and look back at yesterday and go, okay, that's what happened. And if I had needed something, I would not have been able to do it. So what do I need to do to have that plan covered if it happens again? So just sit, think, take some time. I'll be working through that in my own mind today, just trying to plan for these new contingencies as they happen. Go, oh, I didn't have a plan for that. It didn't affect me this time, but it might affect me next time. So I need to make a plan. I need to think about it. And that way, in the moment, you don't get panicked and flustered, and because you've already thought about it and you already have a plan, you just put it in place. All right, let me look over here at the chat. Yep. Anything else, guys? Mr. Grace is bullish on XRP, Link, and HBAR. Absolutely, me too. XRP, Link, HBAR, Ondo, Ethereum, Bitcoin, maybe Cardano. We'll see. Render. What else? You guys can watch our videos and see what we're most bullish on. Sauce, Jupiter, Solana, SWE. Yeah, those who fail to plan to fail. So don't do that. All these goofy boomer cliches, they're actually kind of true sometimes. All right, guys. It's I've been running my mouth for 45 minutes. I'm sure you're tired of hearing me talk. I'm going to go do something not crypto related for the rest of the day. Hope you all have a wonderful day. We'll review the Fed meeting tomorrow and see what good news has happened. Have a great Tuesday. Love y'all, and come get in our Discord for people to hang out with, and maybe some news and announcements coming soon. See you, Mr. Gray. See you at Muna. See you, Foskey. Anybody else watching? Thanks for being here. Do the YouTube thing, please. Helps us out. Like, subscribe, bells, shares, all that stuff. Check out our socials, and we will see you next time. Chompy.